Welcome back, guys. I appreciated the love you showed on the reaction to NF's Hope so much. My heart was just so overjoyed and overwhelmed with the positive response and the encouragement that you all left in the comments on that. Just first wanted to start this out today by saying thank you. That meant more to me than I can actually put into words, in adequate words at least. Several of you in the comment section of that video suggested that I react to Hi Ren, the song that I now know has been gaining traction for I think it's been online for just over 2 months. Honestly, I'm surprised that I wasn't already aware of it. I'm surprised that I didn't know of this artist. I'm surprised that I didn't know that he deals with several of the conditions that I deal with, and I'm extremely surprised that I didn't see this video or know this song specifically because, this is the kind of music that I tend to keep my finger on the pulse of pretty well. So, since there were a lot of you that asked for it, I figured, okay, I gotta check this out. I have a feeling this is gonna be really good. Have not watched the video yet, however, I did do a little bit of reading on his website for some more context of the song, because NF, like I said in the video, I've been a fan since 2014, so almost a decade, so I knew a lot of the history and have watched his career progress for almost a decade now, but this is someone who is new to me, and I have a feeling, just based on all the feedback that I've gotten from you all, and from the little bit that I've been able to read on his website about what he's been dealing with thus far, and I followed him on social media, but I have purposely not listened to a single clip of music. I can tell that this is going to be another one that hits really close to home, and is going to be another artist. If he doesn't end up being on my Spotify Wrapped, he'll probably get a lot of playtime this year. Even though I haven't listened to the songs yet, I can already predict that simply because I love this kind of music that really speaks to the pain points that we're going through. So, on his website, just very quickly, he lists, he's an English artist who has been transparent and chronicled his years of chronic health problems. Hey, that sounds a little familiar here. Some of the things that he deals with, and he lists these on his website, but as someone who deals with more than one of the things he is literally currently going through, I can tell you that there are many other things that aren't necessarily in this list of things, but the list of things that he put on his website: Lyme Disease, Mast Cell Activation Disorder, MCFS, ADHD, chronic depression, intermittent episodes of psychosis. And I will tell you, just based on that list, I have Lyme disease, I have mast cell activation disorder, I have chronic fatigue syndrome, I have neurodivergency, I have depression, I have anxiety, I obviously have my eating disorder because that's what I'm kind of chronically on this channel, is not only my journey to hopefully some physical healing and just management of my physical symptoms, but also emotional healing and recovering from my eating disorder. And before I get into the reaction, I wanted to read something that he had written about this song, and this was on one of his community posts on YouTube. He says, quote, "Years before I was diagnosed correctly with autoimmunity, Lyme disease, and brain damage, I was misdiagnosed as bipolar and spent years bouncing back and forth between therapists and trialing different antidepressants, all the while getting worse and worse. With lots of things in life, we expect to see fairly linear results, rewarding the effort we put in. We put in the work and are rewarded for our efforts. When you put in monumental levels of effort doing self-work, stress reduction techniques, CBT, self-affirmations, following strict medication regimens with pills, with a long list of side effects, and end up worse. It's a really defeating and confusing place to be because it contradicts everything we've been taught and it shakes your trust in the medical system." Just this description, I can already tell this video is gonna hit hard, close to home. And then he closes it out with, "I wanted to write something which captured the frustration of this journey. I wanted to write something which expressed all the things I wish I'd said to my doctors and therapists at the time, but didn't have the words to." And on that note, let's get to the reaction. All I'm saying at the beginning is that this is already haunting. It's already tugging on my heartstrings. Just from these opening notes and this opening imagery of him being wheeled in there, of him clearly not being quite right. Let's go on. Okay, a lot of his guitar work here is reminding me of some of Daniel John's guitar work, which he's one of my all-time favorite artists. Just the uniqueness to the melody, the way that he is just picking this, I just, oh my gosh. It's just so sonically awesome. Okay, looks like we're getting to the storytelling part. Okay, was not expecting, I didn't know exactly what to expect, because like I said, haven't listened to any of his music yet. That voice that came in, it's such that crystal clear, like, oh!
Hi there, Ran. It's been a little while. Did you miss me? You thought you buried me, didn't you? Risky. Cause I always come back. Deep down, you know that. Deep down, you know I'm always in periphery. Ran, on you pleased to see me. It's been weeks since we spoke, bro. I know you need me. You're the sheep, I'm the shepherd. Not your place to lead me. Not your place to be biting off the hand that feeds me.
Okay, I don't, like I said, I'm new to this artist. I don't know exactly what he's talking to here. Obviously, he's doing something similar to NF, where he's talking to what seems like two different sides. Maybe he's talking to the chronically ill side. Maybe he's talking to like the chronically ill versus healthy, or the system who has screwed him over with misdiagnoses, and then the side of trying to hold on to hope. I don't know. We're going to find out throughout the rest of the song.
Hi, Ren. I've been taking some time to be distant. I've been taking some time to be still. I've been taking some time to be by myself since my therapist told me I'm ill. And I've been making some progress lately, and I've learned some new coping skills. So I haven't really needed you much, man. I think we need to just step back and chill. Ren, you sound more insane than I do.
Okay, so it sounds like maybe the mental demons that are attacking him are trying to tell him, hey, it's been a while, come back to us, and he's over here saying, no, guess what, I'm trying to learn these healthy coping skills to get back my life, because I've been stuck in this system of things that are wrong for so long, and oh boy.
You think that those doctors are really there to guide you? Been through this a million times, your civilian mind is so perfect at always being lied to. Okay, take another pill, boy, drown yourself in the sound of white noise.
I can't... Like I said, I don't know the exact perspective he's talking from here, but some of the words that he's saying, like, I can't tell you how many times either the voice in my head or doctors who think they're telling me the right thing, who were so totally wrong and off base, and said, oh, just take another pill, it'll be fine. Just throw another pill at it. Oh, we've got side effects from that one. Well, here's another pill to throw at that. Oh, you've got side effects from combining those two together. Here's another one to throw at that. Just keep stacking them on. Surely it'll make you feel better. And then it doesn't. It just makes you feel worse if it's not the right thing.
Follow this 10-step program, rejoice, all your problems will be gone. Dumb boy. Nah, mate, this time is different, man, trust me. I feel like things might be falling in place. And my music's been kinda doing bits too. Like I actually might do something great. And when I'm gone, maybe I'll be remembered for doing something special with myself.
Just want to say, he will be remembered. His music is doing some great things. Just based on the comments that you all left alone, and the fact that this has so many millions of views already, he's definitely going to be remembered for doing something special. This is a special song already, and we're just 2.5 minutes in.
That's why I don't think that we should talk, man. Because when you're with me, it never seems to help. You think that you can amputate me, I am you, you are me, you are I am we are one. Split in two, that makes one, so you see. You gotta kill you if you wanna kill me. I'm not leftover dinner, I'm not scraps on the side.
Okay, so again, I'm going to relate this to my own recovery, to my own eating disorder recovery, because that's the angle that I bring to a lot of this, even though I do have the chronic illnesses as well. I can't tell you the number of times that my eating disorder voices come in and says, like, you're not going to kill me. We are one and the same. We are one. That line from NF's Hope at the end where he's saying, we are not enough, the fear is saying we are not enough, and the hope comes back with saying, we are not the same. You don't have the will. You don't have the faith. Like that NF argument there. That's what this is like. The eating disorder voice, the healthy self voice, and the eating disorder voice is always like, guess what? I am you. You're me. There's no difference. I'm the only one. I'm the only thing that can give you a sense of accomplishment or purpose or identity or uniqueness in this world. And that's just not true. But a lot of times it'll also convince you that if you want to deal with that, to deal with the disorder, to deal with the chaos, that you're going to be giving up yourself because your identity can get so tied into that. And oh my gosh, let's go.
Gotta kill you if you wanna kill me. I'm not leftover dinner, I'm not scraps on the side. Oh, your music is thriving, delusional guy. Where's your top 10 hit? Where's your interview with Oprah? Wow, your Grammys ran nowhere. Yeah, but my music's not commercial like that. I never chase numbers, statistics or stats. I never write hooks for the radio, they never even play me, so why would I concern myself with that? But my music is really connecting, and the people who find it respect it.
Just want to say, I see why you guys recommended this, because it is the same mission that NF has always had. He has always put profit second and sharing his message and powerful music and lyrics and things like that first, and you can tell that that's what Ren's passion is, and oh my goodness. I read that in, I think, 2016, 2018, several years ago, he actually got dropped from his record label when he was diagnosed with Lyme disease, and now to see this video take off so virally, and to know that it has to open so many doors, while I'm pretty sure he is still currently, right now as we speak, undergoing more invasive treatment for Lyme disease and brain damage caused by it. This is amazing.
And for me that's enough, cause this life's been tough, so it gives me a purpose I can rest in. Man, you sound so pretentious. Ran, your music is so self-centered. No one wants to hear another song about how much you hate yourself. Trust me. You should be so lucky, having me inside you to guide you, remind you to manage expectations, provide you perspective.
Wait, what? Hold on a sec. Let's hear that part again. Let's hear that line again, because this is so much sounding like the eating disorder voice. You hate yourself, so trust me. You hate who you really are, so trust me, because I can give you a sense of purpose. You should be so lucky to have me inside your brain, because I can dictate your life and I can deliver happiness. Plot twist, it never actually delivers happiness.
You should be so lucky, having me inside you to guide you, remind you to manage expectations, provide you perspective. That thing you neglected, I get it. You wanna be a big deal, next Jimi Hendrix, forget it. Man, it's not like that. Man, it's just like that, I'm inside you. No, it's not, man, you're wrong. When I write, I belong. Let me break the fourth wall by acknowledging this song.
Okay, I can't, it's hard to put this into words, and it's ironic that it's hard to put this into words, because Lyme disease and the brain damage that it has caused for me, there were days where I could not remember my name, and if someone told me my name, I could not write my name down. If someone spelled my name, I could not write the letters because my brain could not figure out how to put letters onto a piece of paper when I was trying to sign paper to have blood work done. I had to sign my signature, and I looked at my husband, I said, what's my name? What's my name? How do I spell it? How do I write it? I don't know what to do here. My brain is just failing, and I am a writer at heart. I have been a reader and a writer since I was literally 3 years old. It is one of the things that has always been an extremely cathartic outlet for me. However, when my brain damage from Lyme disease got to be so severe that I couldn't write like I always did. I have an English degree. I have a piece of paper in a frame on my wall here that says I spent 4 years learning the English language, and yet I can no longer write like I wrote for the first 24 years of my life. I'm now 34. It's been about a decade that I've not been able to write. And the one way that I can connect to words is if I turn on a beat and I start writing some lyrics to process what I'm going through. So the back and forth where he's saying, nobody wants to hear this song about how much you hate yourself. And he's like, well, no, this is actually something that is useful. Yeah, there are people out there who need to hear this kind of music, because we need to know we're not alone. And we need to know there are people who not only relate, but aren't afraid to share it so publicly and so vulnerably.
Ren sits down, has a stroke of genius. He wants to write a song that was not done previous. A battle with the subconscious. Eminem did it. Played on guitar. Plan B did it. Man, you're not original, you criminal rip-off artist. The pinnacle of your success is stealing other people's material. Ren, mate, we've heard it all before. She sells seashells on the seashore.
First of all, okay, he's saying that his inner critic is always telling him, like, look, you're copying Eminem, you're copying Plan B, you're copying all these other people, none of this is original, everybody's heard it before. First of all, no. This is very unique, maybe there's some elements, some NF elements, some other types of elements in here from other artists, but, like, he's very clearly doing his own thing, and I lost it at the she sells seashells on the seashore line, because, like, and the sarcasm that he did with that, he's like, oh, yeah, you've done it before. I'm like, I don't know. Just made me laugh. I'm loving his expression here, too.
I don't need you, I don't need to hear this, cause I'm fine by myself, I'm a genius, and I will be great, and I will make waves, and I'll shake up the whole world beneath it. That's
okay, so you can hear do you hear the desperation in his voice there? Do you hear the desperation in his voice trying to talk back to this inner critic, whatever he is signifying as his inner critic? Again, hope, doubt, fear, chronic illness, depression, whatever it is. Whatever he is considering his inner critic in this song. He's talking back to him saying, no, I am going to do this. I am going to do this. I am going to excel at this. I am going to be at this. I am going to beat the odds. I am going to do exactly what you say I can't do. And just that desperation in his voice is something that I literally feel every day, as I feel like I'm being ripped apart in two by these two sides of me. One who can't really want recovery for myself, but definitely doesn't want to live this limited life and wants it for the other people in my life. And then this other part of me that can't imagine letting go of the eating disorder identity, because because it's all I've known for literally 2 decades now. It got me. Sorry. The desperation in his voice there resonated really deeply.
Right, speak your truth, your God complex leaks out of you. It's refreshing to actually hear you say it instead of downplay it.
Music is all about the creative process, and if people can find something to relate to within that, then that's just a bonus.
I'll kill you, Ren. Well, kill me then, have you, Ren? I'ma do it, watch me prove it. Who are you to doubt my music? Cause I call the shots I choose if you die. Yeah, I call the shots and so I choose who survives. I'll tie you up in knots when I lock you inside.
I gotta rewind that. There's a lot going on. They're gonna rewind it about 10 seconds. There's a lot going on there with that back and forth, the back and forth. When I'm talking about this, I'm gonna be referring to it as healthy self voice and disordered voice. So whatever he is using for that personification, we're gonna call it the disordered voice and the healthy self voice. And you can hear that tug and war, that back and forth, that oh my goodness.
Kill me then, have you, Ren? I'ma do it, watch me prove it. Who are you to doubt my music? Cause I call the shots I choose if you die. Yeah, I call the shots and so I choose who survives. I'll tie you up in knots when I lock you inside.
His physicality here, the physical things that he's doing, that noise effect that he just made, which triggered my misophonia a little bit, but that sound that he just made almost sounds like a rip, almost sounds like something is just being ripped apart in two, as if you can feel through this video, through his words, through his music, through his voice, the tension between these two sides of him that he is just trying to reconcile and trying to get this side to take over, but this side just not shutting up the whole time.
Newsflash. I was created at the dawn of creation. I am temptation. I am the snake in Eden. I am the reason for treason. Beheading kings, I am sin, with no rhyme or reason. Son of the morning, Lucifer, Antichrist, father of lies. Mephistopheles, truth in a blender, deceitful pretender, the banished avenger, the...
Did he just say Mephistopheles, as in Mr. Mephistopheles, as in the cat that was like a magician in Cats, T.S. Eliot's Cats, and then the musical? Was that what that reference was? He's saying a lot of stuff here, a lot of biblical imagery that I could dive into right now, but it would take up the whole video, and this is a 9.5-minute video almost, so this is going to be long enough as it is. But I do want to note that this voice of disorder, specifically for me, I call the eating disorder essentially just a personification of Satan, because it is a lying liar who lies, and it wants to do nothing but steal, kill, and destroy your life. And that's kind of what is coming up here. He is being so like heady here, so meta here. I know I'm going to miss a lot of the imagery, a lot of the allegory in here, simply because there's just so much. But I don't want to make this video any longer than it's already going to be.
The righteous surrender when standing in front of my solar eclipse. My name is stitched to your lips, so you see I won't bow to the will of a mortal, feeble and normal. You wanna kill me? I'm eternal immortal. I live in every decision that catalyzes chaos, that causes division. I live inside death, the beginning of ends. I am you, you are me, I am you, friend.
I am you, you are me, I am your friend.
Editing Becca here with a quick correction. He said, I am you, Ren, not I am your friend. YouTube auto captions failed me.
That's the lies the disorder tries to sell you. That's the lies the disorder tries to sell you, that you are the disorder is you. There is no different, and the disorder is your only friend. It's your only friend that's going to be there with you. The only friend that'll stick by you. And man, it's easy to believe that lie when you've been hurt by other people or by medical professionals or been gaslit by medical professionals or... Oh, wow. And it sounds like this is getting ready to get to something really, to kind of big drop here, so let's see. That transition.
Hi, Ren. I've been taking some time to be distant. I've been taking some time to be still. I've been taking some time to be by myself, and I've spent half my life ill.
Just that last line, I've been taking some time to be by myself, and I spent half my life ill. I'm 34 years old. I've dealt with my eating disorder for 20 years. That's more than half my life. I've dealt with OCD my entire life. I've dealt with other mental health issues 21 years, and I've dealt with some physical health issues that we didn't have names for, much like he didn't have names for years, or I was misdiagnosed for years, but literally well over half my life. And it's a hard place to be. It's hard. it's hard to realize that you've lost a lot of your life to illness that, especially if you didn't even know what it was and doctors were not accurate and were instead harming you, whether intentionally or unintentionally.
But just as sure as the tide starts turning, just as sure as the night has dawned, just as sure as the rainfall soon runs dry when you stand in an eye of a storm. I was made to be tested and twisted. I was made to be broken and beat.
I was made to be tested and twisted. I was made to be broken and beat. Thought I had more to say on that.
I was made by his hand, it's all part of his plan that I stand on my own 2 feet.
Okay, I don't know if he's a Christian or not, but it sounds like he's talking about he was made, it was part of God's plan, and it was his plan that he's going to stand on his own 2 feet here. I don't know if he's talking about God here or if he's just, again, drawing on that religious imagery to get this point across, but you saw he's talking about standing on his own 2 feet, and he just is starting to stand up, so we're going to rewind it, so again, I don't talk through that transition, but let's see here.
His hand, it's all part of his plan that I stand on my own 2 feet. And you know me, my will is eternal. And you know me, you've met me before. Face to face with a beast, I will rise from the east and I'll settle on the ocean floor. And I go by many names also. Some people know me as Hope.
Okay, so again, he's saying I go by many names also. So I don't think he's just talking about like the Christian God here. I think he's making allusion to the fact that there are a lot of people who hope in something, whether that is God, the Christian God, whether that's any other religion, whether that's just the concept of hope and whatever it takes to channel that. Obviously, for me, my Christian faith is a very important part of who I am. Following Jesus is that for me. Jesus is who gives me that hope, but I love that this literally is tying right into the Hope video, the NF Hope video, because he said, some people know me as Hope. And I'm curious to see if he's going to list more things here, but...
Some people know me as the voice that you hear when you loosen the noose on the rope.
Oh, hold on. What? Some people know me as the voice that you hear when you loosen the noose on the rope. I can't tell you the number of times that I've laid here in bed, whether it was mental or physical pain, chronic mental or physical illness, and I was begging God, like, please just take my life, because I don't necessarily want to take it myself, but I wouldn't be upset if you just took me to heaven right now. I wouldn't be upset if you let my life on this earth end. And that would be the embodiment of the voice you hear when you loosen the noose on the rope. Because if you've got a noose around your neck, you are in that process of not wanting to be on this earth anymore and trying to take that into your own hands and loosening it there because you hear something, because you hear God, because you hear hope, because you get one just little flicker of hope of life that can exist that just... To me, it would be God. That is what it is to me. To me, it would be God. It would be Jesus. But just that imagery there. Some people know me as hope. Some people know me as the voice that you hear when you loosen the noose on the rope. Oh boy. This is powerful, man. This is deep and powerful.
And you know how I know that I'll prosper? 'Cause I stand here beside you today. I have stood in the flames that cremated my brain, and I didn't once flinch or shake.
Did you hear that power? Did you hear that power? We're rewinding that. Sorry, my voice cracked there. I can feel that power. He stood up, and you can feel this power that he's got now that he's standing on his own 2 feet. Oh, God.
Prosper, 'cause I stand here beside you today. I have stood in the flames that cremated my brain, and I didn't once flinch or shake.
Okay, so... what he's talking about here, I think, I stood in the flames that cremated my brain and I didn't once flinch or shake. He literally is dealing with brain damage caused by Lyme disease and some of his other chronic illnesses. That is the direct reference to the damage in his brain there, but the fact that he is standing up, he is standing in the flames, and he says, I know I will prosper, I stood in the flames that cremated my brain and I didn't once flinch or shake, while I can't claim to have never flinched or shaken because I have spent most of the past year and a half very, very shaken and flinching multiple times a day, metaphorically and literally. The power and the strength in his voice here. But I gotta change the battery on my camera. We'll be right back. Rewinding it again to get that powerful transition so we can get into the next line.
Stood in the flames that cremated my brain, and I didn't once flinch or shake. So coward the man I've become when I sing from the top of my lungs.
Hear that strength in his voice? Do you hear that strength in his voice? Whoo!
That I won't retire, I'll stand in your fire, inspire that me to be strong. And when I am gone, I will rise in the music that I left behind. Ferocious, persistent, immortal like you, we're a climbing to different sides.
thought I had words to add here, but I'm just overcome with how much strength is there. And where I paused it here, the voice, the look on his face, you can see the pain, you can hear the desperation, you can literally see the veins in his neck bulging as he is trying to use his voice. Use his voice, not the voice of the inner critic, not the voice of the disorder that's trying to dictate whatever. Oh, this is tearing me up, guys. Hitting my lamp. It is not easy to sound that good when you are literally just making the ooh sound and doing it. Is not easy. What he is singing here, that's not easy to sing. That is not musically easy to sing. And he wrote this. Not only is he singing it, he wrote this. Oh, it's so good. And his voice is just dagger to the heart. What's happening here?
When I was 17 years old, I shouted out into an empty room, into a blank canvas, that I would defeat the forces of evil.
Okay, he's clearly going to say more, but I just want to say that if a 17-year-old said that, it's no wonder that his music now, I think he's in his mid-20s now, I could be wrong on that. It makes it so powerful that he was that young and was screaming out, I'm going to defeat the forces of evil, because even if he didn't know exactly what they were at that point in time, he knew something wasn't right, and he's refusing to stop fighting. Wow.
And for the next 10 years of my life, I suffered the consequences. With autoimmunity, illness, and psychosis. As I got older, I realized there were no real winners and there were no real losers in psychological warfare.
Couldn't have said it better. There are no real winners and there are no real losers in psychological warfare.
But there were victims and there were students. It wasn't David versus Goliath. It was a pendulum, eternally swaying from the dark to the light. And the more intensely that the light shone, the darker the shadow it cast.
I can't. So he said 10 years, so maybe he's 27, 28 now, but what he was kind of saying there is like, it's not just one big battle of David versus Goliath, and it's so true whether it's chronic physical illness, whether it's chronic mental illness. For me right now, eating disorder recovery specifically, it's not like one big battle where you're David and you go face Goliath and you slay that giant, you beat that giant, and then all of a sudden you have victory and you get to move on with your life. That's not what chronic illness is. That's not what mental health issues are. That's not what eating disorder recovery is. It is constantly feeling this back and forth, not being able to see the light, maybe the light creeping in a little bit, but the darkness overtaking it. And then I love that he pointed out there that the light shines more intensely and can shine brighter, but then that casts an even darker shadow. And it's just this constant back and forth of darkness and light, of hope and hopelessness, of healthy self and disorder, of living and dying, ultimately.
It was never really a battle for me to win. It was an eternal dance. And like a dance, the more rigid I became, the harder it got. The more I cursed my...
The more rigid I became, the harder it got. Just want to throw that out there, that that's a lesson I'm continually having to try to learn in recovery. I've still not quite learned it yet. But the more rigid I get, the more rigid the disorder makes me, the harder everything gets to do. The harder recovery gets, the harder life gets, the harder anything gets to do.
The more I cursed my clumsy footsteps, the more I struggled. So I got older, and I learned to relax.
He says, the more I cursed my clumsy footsteps, the more I struggled. Is probably both literal and metaphorical, because Lyme and all of these other conditions, they can literally affect you so neurologically that you physically cannot walk, which is probably why he was in a wheelchair coming into this video. The more you beat yourself up over physically not being able to function, or over trying to take some mental steps toward recovery and then continually missing the mark and feeling like a failure, you're cursing yourself and you have to learn to relax and learn to soften, and what he's referring to as this eternal dance there, I think that maybe he's tapping into some self-compassion type stuff there, because learning to relax and learning to soften and give yourself a little grace for what you're going through, that's what self-compassion is. And if I'm being honest with you, self-compassion makes my heart race and makes me cringe because I am so bad at it and I don't feel like I deserve it, but therein is one of the reasons I need to work on it.
And I learned to soften, and that dance got easier. It is this eternal dance that separates human beings from angels, from demons, from gods. And I must not forget, we must not forget, that we are human beings.
Wow, 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 that was so powerful. I know I talked a lot throughout, so I don't want to take a whole lot of time right here, but I do just want to mention a couple things. Number one, thank you so much to everyone who requested a reaction to that song. I have wanted to film it ever since you started requesting it a couple weeks ago, but I have not been able to until today, so thank you for that. It was so powerful, it was so relatable, it was so resonant on both the chronic illness, physical health level, and on the mental health level. It was just so freaking relatable, and I love that he also brought into it the imagery and the metaphor and the allegory of the concept of humanity and what are we as humans versus God versus demons versus... I'm not getting into all the theology here because that wasn't the point of this video, but I love the fact that he used that kind of imagery. And then at the end there, he kind of gave that spoken section where he's just like, hey, we are all human beings. And that's part of self-compassion too, which again, it makes me cringe to even say that out loud, because I know that when I talk about self-compassion, I feel like a fraud because I feel like I'm preaching something I don't practice, but know that I am actively trying to get better at it. So when I say this stuff, I'm saying it to myself, for myself, as much as I am for anyone else. Part of self-compassion is recognizing that common humanity, is recognizing that no matter what struggles we're going through, someone is always struggling with something, and we're all in this together. That is what makes humans different. This constant battle where we're having to choose between caving to the darkness or fighting to reclaim the life and staying in the light that we know can be there, even if it's really freaking hard or even impossible to see at times. Like, he just encapsulated that so well. And if you're dealing with chronic physical illness, chronic mental illness, literally anything like that that is making your life feel chaotic, even if you don't have a diagnosis but you know something's wrong and you're going through the process of trying to figure it out, please know you're not alone. This song and video itself is proof of that. I am also here telling you that from my end. There are also millions of people who have watched this video, and probably hundreds of people who have reacted to it, who can tell you the same thing. You are not alone. There is an answer, and there is hope. See you in the next one.